Hi everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Cat Chat. Thanks so much for joining me again today. All right, today we are going to talk about something that just fascinates me, and I hope that you are as fascinated as I am. So, probably something you never in a million years thought to do would be to take a jar of ordinary rice and yell at it for 30 days to see what happens. All right, well, I'm going to talk about what prompted me to do that, but you're a little curious about what happened, right? Well, I'm gonna show you here in a little bit. First, I want to tell you how this all started. About 20 years ago, I watched the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? That led me to Dr. Emoto, who was mentioned in the movie, and his experiments with hidden messages in water. This is the book that he wrote. This is a fascinating book. He did some experiments with water in that he froze it, and then he did a whole bunch of different experiments of trying to find a perfect way to take a photo of the crystals that were formed just as the ice was melting. And this took quite a bit of trial and error to get that procedure so that you could get a really good photo. Once he got that down, he started taking photos of water that he took out of the river in Japan, froze it, and then he put labels on the water as he was freezing it. And then as the ice was melting, he started to take photographs of what it looked like. And he found that there were completely different crystals formed between water that had nice things on it, words like joy, love, gratitude, versus the water that he labeled with things like I hate you and I will kill you. And it was fascinating. And I won't go through this whole book, but I'll just give you an example. The top photo here says, was labeled with you're cute. And the bottom one was labeled with you're a fool. And you can see the amazing difference in the crystal formalization. I can't even say that word. Anyway, this fascinated me, and he started doing these experiments with music, playing different music for the water, and all kinds of different things. So I highly recommend reading the book to go more into that, but the purpose of this video is to show you what happens when you start yelling at rice. So I decided I was going to take 3 jars of rice, one that I wouldn't do anything with, one that I was going to put nice things and words labeled on it and talk nicely to it every day, and one that was going to have various hateful things, and also I would scream at it every day. And then we're going to do this over 30 days, and I took photos every day to just see the difference and what happened with the rice as time went on. As we go into the photos, I'm not going to put you through looking at every single day, but I'm going like every 5 days, and then towards the end we'll get a little bit more detailed. So here's what I found. As I was doing this experiment, it was very easy with the one that I said nice things to. I would take it into another room and say, I love you so much. You're so beautiful. You smell delicious. You taste delicious. I love you. You're amazing. Do you know how amazing you are? Things like that. And I would bring it back and set it down. And then I would take the other one that I was going to say mean things to, take it in another room, and I would say, oh, you're so ugly. I hate you. You're disgusting. Why do you even exist? Things like that. And I was surprised to find how it made me feel. Like, I got to the point after a few days, I dreaded having to yell at this rice. I know that sounds crazy and ridiculous, but it made me feel so icky inside. Like I was like, this poor rice, it didn't do anything wrong. And I just really felt icky. It made me feel bad. So that was kind of a telling thing. And then of course we have the control rice that just sat there by itself. I never touched it, never talked to it, completely ignored it. So that's the control. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the progress of these, and then we'll talk just a little bit more at the end. So let's take a look at the process and what each one looked like as we went along. Okay, here we are on day 1. I've put all of the jars on the same table in my dining room. There's no direct sunlight, just regular dining room light, your regular fixtures. And you can see I've labeled them all with the either I hate you and the ugly statements, or the I love you and the nice statements. Day 5, not a whole lot of changes. You also see the other one that has nothing on it. That's the control. Day 11, still starting to see a few changes in the I hate you jar, and you'll see that coming up here a little bit closer up. Right here, you can see that it's starting to get just a little bit tan on the top of the I hate you jar on day 11. This is where I start to see the changes. Now on day 15, not a whole lot more, just a little bit of a dark spot showing up on the I hate you jar. Now on day 20, that spot is prominent, and you can see it's starting to get very brown on top. The I love you jar is starting to get a tiny bit gelatinous. And you see a little bit of pink on day 25 on the I love you jar. Now on day 26, it's starting to get a little bit pinker. Day 27, the pink and the brown on both jars are really starting to get a little bit darker on both. Same with day 28. By day 29, the I love you jar is getting quite gelatinous, almost like jello or pudding. And here we are on day 30. You can really see the pink on day 30. It's really starting to come out. Now this is the jar that had nothing done with it, no talking to it, no labels. This was the control group. You can see there's condensation in the jar, but nothing else. The rice just kind of sat there. Day 30 on the I hate you jar, you can see that it's gotten quite brown and ugly. And it's kind of dry and crusty on top. The I love you jar has turned into a beautiful, almost pudding-like or jello-like substance with a nice pink texture. You can see the pink really shows up on this picture. And this is a short little video, and if you watch closely up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the bubbles. And there's a few bubbles later on in the film, but I cut this a little bit short so you didn't have to watch too much of it, but it's almost like it's breathing and alive. Okay, is that amazing or what? All right, I want to talk a little bit about what it smelled like now. So I was hesitant to take the lids off, to be honest. They all had the exact same amount of rice, the exact same amount of water to begin with, just to start off with. I wanted to let you know that. They were all kept sealed through the entire time. I didn't open any of them during the entire process. I know that there are some scientists out there that are going to say, well, there could have gotten dust in there, or it wasn't a temperature controlled room, but they were all exposed to the same environment. So I stand by, this is fascinating. So take it or leave it. Anyway, so I opened the first one, which was the control one. I started with that one, and it didn't smell horrible. It didn't smell great. It was kind of in the middle. So I put that one aside. And then the next one I opened was the one that I yelled at and had the hate words on it. And I'm going to tell you that I only opened it for a split second and hurried up and put the lid back on because it was so foul I almost threw up. I have never smelled anything so disgusting in my whole life. Like I was like, well, that jar's going in the trash. And then I opened the third one, which is the one that I said lovely things to and had love and peace and joy and all of that on it. And I opened that one and it was amazing. Like it didn't smell like delicious like I wanted to eat it, but I had to stick my whole entire nose like into the jar and really inhale to even get an aroma at all. And then the aroma was that of sort of like, I don't know, almost like a hint of acetone or something, but not foul, just like a little sour. Not only that, but it had turned pink, and the texture was like jello, where the hate one was very dry and hard and icky. And the other thing, and you saw this at the end of the video there, I tried to take a video of, it was like it was breathing, like there was bubbles coming up and it would kind of raise and go down. It was so very much alive, which just was fascinating to me. And yeah, it's obviously I wouldn't eat it because it's been sitting there for 30 days, but it did not smell horrible at all. Like, I was just so surprised. So anyway, this to me was a fascinating experiment in the power of our words and the impact that they have on everything and everyone around us, from your houseplants to your pets, and most importantly to yourselves and others. I mean, if yelling at rice can do that to rice, think what it does to your neighbor, your friend, your spouse, your child. Imagine the impact that you're having with your words, whether they're good or bad, nice or not nice words. Hopefully this makes you stop and think a minute. It certainly did me. It makes me stop and think about my words and thoughts before they come out of my mouth now when I'm speaking to somebody or about somebody or anything like that. So I hope this has helped you have a better understanding of your words and the impact that they have. That was the point. And feel free to try it yourself. Again, I highly recommend this book. I am going to drop a link for that down below, so check it out if you want. It's fascinating. The pictures in it are beautiful, and you'll be astounded. All right, that's going to wrap it up for another edition of Cat Chat. Once again, thanks so much for joining me. If you like this, if it was helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe. I so very much appreciate your subscriptions. You know how much I need those. I appreciate your support as always. Until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. You know you all deserve it. Mwah.